Hello and welcome to another episode of KKP Untitled Podcast, where we talk about video games but still haven't yet to figure out what to call our show. I'm thinking Rapid Fire or KKP Random Play. What do you think, Lewis?
Rapid Fire has a nice ring to it. I honestly, at this point, I was we've gone on like so many episodes now, and I was getting to the point where I was like, we might as well just lean into the untitledness and just like have it just called Untitled.
Untitled session, or something like a jazz thing where you're basically freestyling it with your guitar, your bass, and your trumpets, and then be like, it's called Untitled Session. Just put it in the EP. You can sell it for $10 or $20 or so, and we'll see where it goes from there. So yeah, our Untitled show. My name is Jonathan, Mr. Toffee Toyat, and this is Lewis Larcombe, our awesome esports writer guy. And how are you doing on this fine Friday that we're recording? Friday the 8th?
Ninth.
Oh, the 9th. The 9th. 8th, the 9th, yes.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've got a fresh new haircut. I'm feeling good.
Yes, you got an awesome haircut. Any story behind that?
My girlfriend said she didn't like the blonde, so I cut off the blonde. I tried to cut off as much of it as I could. Feeling good, feeling fresh. My headphones now sit on my head properly.
Yes.
It's been going good. I guess we can kind of get straight into what I've been doing this week.
Yes, definitely.
Non-stop, besides getting my haircut, non-stop playing Doom, the Dark Ages, which is just wow. I mean, it's just I just get into it, I guess.
Yes, please do. Talk about the game, talk about the action. And what you love, I mean, obviously what you love about it. Non-spoiler, of course, because we still want people to buy the game. And the embargo lifted by the time this video is out. And the game is coming out 2-3 days in early access on the following Monday. So
Tuesday for us.
Right, Tuesday for us. Yes, thank you. GMT.
So 13th, yeah. But yeah, okay. So I think anyone who knows me knows that I'm just the shooter guy, but weirdly enough, I'm 25 this year, and I think that kind of puts me in a weird category where it's like it's 50-50 whether or not I grew up playing Doom or not. Unfortunately, I grew up in the camp where I didn't play Doom, even with the reboots, the soft reboot in 2016, well, not really soft reboot, but just a full-on just remake of like a re-envisioning of the franchise, it never really appealed to me. You know, I was kind of, I did find Doom always a bit kind of scary in a sense, because, you know, it takes place in the depths of hell, there's demons and whatnot. Even though I grew up playing Call of Duty, I was the type of person who wouldn't load up onto, Kino did Totem by myself. I would load up onto zombies maps with friends, or if friends were present, and I could just never really play those types of games alone. So, obviously, when I was provided, a code for this game, I was like, being in this industry for so long, you have to learn to adapt. And so I kind of came into this with fresh eyes and really wanting to experience kind of what did I miss out on in my childhood, right? It just so happens that with the Dark Ages as well, that was kind of the objective, is that they wanted to rewrite kind of the Doomslayer's origin story, and then also be able to kind of make it an entryway for new players to come into the franchise, which it has done amazingly. So I've been reviewing it, and straight off the bat, I just want to preface, I can't really find that much to nitpick about, or to really come up with any cons in a way. It's really, really solid. It's really good. I don't even know where to start, really.
Start with the controls, the start of the feel of the guns and everything.
So, this might be blasphemous for a lot of OG Doom heads, but I played the Dark Ages on PS5 on controller. So for me, it was quite an easy transition. I prefer playing FPS on controller anyway, and thankfully as well, it runs like smooth like butter. It feels so nice to use. It's obviously there's aim assist, which is kind of in a game like Doom, playing it on console, you kind of need aim assist if you want to be able to actually like kill hordes of enemies and whatnot. I guess the gunplay feels immaculate. It's so good. It just feels right. Like the weapon arsenal, from what I understand, the weapon arsenal has always been big since Doom 2016, and that continues in this. Obviously, there's the addition of the pulverizer, which is that skull crushing gun that everyone has been talking about, which it just has a massive spread, great for crowd control.
So that is like a machine gun or a shotgun or what?
It's kind of just like, think of it as like a I guess kind of it, in terms of purpose, it would be used as like a kind of like a Gatling gun.
Gatling gun,
like
all right.
In terms of you need it to control, like to crowd control, right? But you obviously have the launchers for that usually, but if you want to conserve your ammo, the pulverizer is a great option, especially if you just want to deal with fodder. It has a massive ammo size, and I believe it's like 150 or 180, and and it just looks cool as well. Like, you have a skull in the ammunition cap, and it's like a shredder that crushes the skull and then shoots out bone shards.
Nice.
It's honestly, it's just as gruesome as you expect it to be from Doom as well, which is, it's just sick. And then you've got the chain shot as well, which is another gun that a lot of people gravitated towards in the trailers. And that one's a little bit nichier. Like, it's a lot more circumstantial. You kind of need it more for, like, you know, say you got these mancubuses that are like wearing armor, for example. It's great for taking down armor. But not the best for, crowd control, like actually dealing damage to enemies and whatnot. So the arsenal's just great. I opted for the combat shotgun myself, just because I wanted to get that true, Doom experience, and I made sure that was the first thing I upgraded to the max, and by then it works wonderfully to take down enemies. Obviously you've got like the shield saw and whatnot.
There's a lot of gameplay with the shield. That's like a chainsaw shield or what?
Yeah, so basically, I think it's only about halfway through the first chapter you unlock the chainsaw shield, and it essentially is great for kind of stunning enemies. It's used for pretty much just stunning enemies. Say mancubuses, for example, who are just really annoying to deal with sometimes. You just throw your chainsaw shield at them, they get stunned, and you can upgrade it as well so that the stun lasts longer, it deals more damage, it ricochets and whatnot as well. It's also great for dealing with fodder as well, great for crowd control. It just, all of these components kind of work hand in hand together, and I think something that I really appreciate as a newcomer to the Doom franchise is it's not as chaotic. Like, it starts off quite chaotic, but it eases you into it, and it kind of teaches you to be a lot more methodical about how you fight these hordes of zombies. Because yes, at the end of the day, you are just one man dealing with brainless, mindless demons, right? Essentially, but you kind of it kind of spoon feeds you kind of ways to deal with strategy, whether it be introducing new weapons or kind of like how the upgrades progress. For example, it kind of gives you, hey, now you're able to stun with your saw shield, so now you can deal damage to them, or I'll give you a passive buff where, like, if they're stunned by the shield, your combat shotgun deals more damage, or burn, or like subtle passive effects like burn or shock deal more damage and whatnot. And it's great. Obviously, you've got stuff like the plasma rifle and whatnot, which are circumstantial, great for people, great for, like, I believe they're imps with energy shields. It just overall, it's a lot more methodical than I expected it to be, and I think that was something that I really do appreciate, is that it engages your brain a lot more. And obviously, you've got that comes with the wider range of, the cast list of enemies as well. You've got your bog standard, Lost Souls, you've got your Hell Knights, you've got your Mancubuses.
Cacodemons, of course, the floating heads, the fire.
Yeah, the Cacodemons are, they look a bit different as well. They've strayed a little bit away, which is kind of weird. Like, the art direction for this game as well, they're trying to go a little bit more towards the original Doom. In terms of at least like the weapon design, for example, I can't remember if it's the accelerator or if it's the plasma rifle, which is meant to be a lot more reminiscent of the original design. But in the case of the Cacodemon, for example, they've decided to stray away from that and kind of give it a lot more tentacles and make it look a lot more demonic in a sense.
Right.
Almost like like Cthulhu-like. So with that, it just there's such a wider range of like strategy that you can start implementing as well, which is great, which I didn't expect. I think maybe because I've got this jaded perception of Doom, where I just see it as a corridor shooter kind of vibe, when in reality it at least Doom the Dark Ages is so much more. I think where that really stands out is the map design, which is, I'm not too sure if that's something that was in previous Dooms. I think you were explaining before that it's a lot more platformy, like Doom 2016.
Doom Eternal was more platformy. Doom 2016 was just trying to break new ground by being an arena/corridor shooter, faster with the gore kill system and whatnot. So how does this evolution so far for Doom Dark Ages?
The best way I can describe it is open zone. I feel like that might be the right way to describe it. Essentially, you'll load up into a chapter, and then you'll realize that you kind of just given free reign to kind of go wherever you want to go in the map. There'll be hordes of enemies everywhere, and there'll be like little side objectives that you don't necessarily have to do them, but like, for example, there'll be little puzzles. It's very puzzle reliant, which is something that I really do enjoy about this game, is that there's little puzzles that you can do to get collectibles, whether it be little like collectible toys, or it can be codexes to find out more about the lore, or it can just be like a gold stash which you can use to use to upgrade your weapons or shield and whatnot, which is great. And objectives as well, you can do in any order you want. So for example, I believe one of the levels, the objective is just to close a bunch of demon portals.
Yep.
And you can do them whichever order you want, and you're free to just kind of just roam around. You don't even have to do them at first either. You can go around slaying all the enemies first, and then you can go close the portals and whatnot. You're really given the freedom to do whatever you want, which from my understanding is kind of new to Doom. And I feel like as a newcomer, as a newcomer to the franchise who had a very distinct perception of Doom, it's completely kind of changed my view on the franchise, and I really, at least for this game in particular, I really do appreciate it.
Will this make you want to revisit Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal?
That's the thing. I feel like it will. I don't know. I feel like from what you described, if it's a lot more platforming, a lot more corridor shooter, then it's like those are kind of what I didn't really find appealing about Doom in the first place. So if I'm going from the Dark Ages into 2016 and Eternal, I feel like I'll be set up for disappointment in a sense.
Or maybe like a step back because you're so used to the open world nature of Doom.
Yeah, exactly.
Dark Ages.
Yeah, and it's just great. Obviously, as well, I think I can talk about a bit, which is you get to pilot the Atlan, which is the giant mecha.
Which is in the trailer. I think you get to pilot the dragon and the mecha.
Yeah, it's not in the same level. They are quite close. I think they're two chapters apart. It's great. The Atlan is a little bit jarring, because you get to see Atlans fighting in the background throughout the first couple of chapters, and you see kind of how slow they are fighting Titans, and you're just like, okay, cool. It's like, cool background scenery, whatnot. And then you start to pilot one yourself, and you realize you're just Doomslayer. It doesn't really feel as robotic as you expect a mecha to be. Maybe that's kind of something to do, you can kind of, rationalize it out to be, oh, this is just how advanced Sentinel tech is that their giant mechas don't feel like giant mechas. But it literally just feels like your Doomslayer just enlarged, really.
Yeah, just a big one. So not really like Titanfall and your pilot.
No, not at all, no. And I mean, there is a difference in terms of mechanics. There's a dodge mechanic with the Atlan, and it's a lot more hand-to-hand combat reliant as well. And then obviously the environment's a lot more dynamic as well. And when you're an Atlan, that you can break bridges that like have hordes of demons on them and whatnot. And then you've got the dragon. The dragon is definitely that one's obviously a completely different game. That is. It's quite fun to use. You don't get to use it too much throughout the game. It is a very just like, here's just a little, we're just gonna throw this at you, and you can just enjoy this for this short period of time, and then you can move on to playing Doom again. And it's essentially I guess the way it's used is just like you kind of have to deal with like demon ships and whatnot. That's the use of this dragon, and it's the way it blends the gameplay as well is quite nice. Like it seamlessly you're seamlessly having to switch between flying the dragon, taking down the ship's defenses, and then going in as Doomslayer and pretty much bringing down the ship as Doomslayer. And that seamless transition is really it's nice. It doesn't really take you out of the game or anything, and they've honestly, ID Software's just done a really, really good job at just making it feel so like it belongs. Like, this doesn't feel like it doesn't belong in Doom. Like, that was something that I think I was a bit scared of going into this, is that Doom dragons, like, yes, I know there's a little bit of mythology in this, in terms of like
you're just worried about how it plays and everything.
Right, yeah, as well. And like, is it going to be clunky? Because this is something that they haven't really done before, is it going to feel right? And they in theory, I don't think it would work, but then, ID Software's just gone about it, and it's just like, they've like, how can we make this dragon as Doom as possible? And it's like, okay, we'll slap on a bunch of Gatling guns on top, we'll make the dragon be able to have, this dragon doesn't even have proper wings, it has like metallic wings that have like, the fabric in between it is like energy, like the what do you call it, at least the wings themselves, sorry, are made out of energy. So it's just like, okay, this is how they've doomified it essentially.
So is it third person or first person for the dragon? How does that
third
work?
person, third person. The Atlan is first person. That's why it feels so weird. I feel like they could have, if they made the Atlan third person, then I feel like it would feel a bit different, and I feel like it would feel right. But
I think
yeah,
it's more
at least
for
for the
immersion.
dragon.
I think it's more for immersion reasons, at least from what you're talking about. Because like,
Yeah,
how you
like
use the mechas in Titanfall, yeah.
Yeah,
first
yeah,
person,
like
yeah.
you're the one that's piloting it essentially. At least in terms of the dragon though, yeah, it's all third person. I feel like that it would just, that helps a lot. I feel like if it was in first person, the amount of maneuvering you need to do would definitely make you feel a bit motion sick.
Yeah, I played some flight sims to know that I'm not playing that in first person at all, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no option for that. Even if you did want to get, if you willingly wanted to get motion sickness, yeah, there isn't any option for that. But yeah, all in all, the at least those two sections are great. They're great additions to the overall story as well, and and just the gameplay experience. It just adds a little bit more depth and takes you out of it and almost gives you like a breather, like, hey, we know we've been feeding you a lot of like, these big open maps and this Doom style gameplay, but how about here's a little shift of a change, and we hope you enjoy it. And in the case of me, I thoroughly did. So I can't really find anything to complain about Doom, to be honest. I genuinely think this will probably be the best single player shooter of the year, if not probably the decade. Maybe. I can't really think of any other single player shooters that are in the works, or
apart from Doom Eternal and maybe Doom, the 2016 game anyway.
Yeah, so. I mean, for the 2020 so far, this is a great game. Like, honestly, I forget that it's associated with Bethesda as well, which I expect so much more jank when Bethesda's like attached.
Yeah, but it's software, they do their work. I mean, they have
exactly
made technologically sound games back in the day up till now, so...
Yeah, so honestly, they've done a great job, and it works brilliantly. The soundtrack as well is phenomenal. It's just exactly what you expect from a Doom game. It drowns out perfectly as well, in between cutscenes or whenever there's important dialogue and whatnot. That was something I was a bit worried about, is how that would work. But yeah, like in serious combat, there's even combat scenes where they won't even play music, and it just works better. Like, it really is just like, okay, you're just Doomslayer on the battlefield at that time. So it's honestly, the soundtrack is great, and it's such a symphony when you hear like the gunshots along with like the metal soundtrack in the background sometimes. Nice. It's great. But yeah, all in all, it's looking to me to be about a 90 out of 100 for me.
Closer to 100 from the sounds of it, actually.
Closer to 100, but I think it's just because of my unfamiliarity with Doom as a franchise. I don't feel like I have the credibility to be able to really like give it that 100 out of 100, because to me it's the closest thing to it is close to a perfect game, but I can't pick on what it really would push it and solidify as a perfect game, to be honest.
I think there's a solution for that, because Doom Eternal and Doom are still available and they're on the cheap on the PC. So I guess that's just one step you can go, like after, if you can find some free time, or maybe some extra homework, do a retrospective on Doom Eternal and Doom 2016. You don't have to play the older Dooms, it's fine.
Okay,
you just have to worry about like the id trilogy of Doom games that came out since 2016.
Yeah.
And like you, I actually did play the first Doom remake on the PS4. So I'm also a heretic in a sense, because at the time I had a PS4, but my PC wasn't up to snuff to play anything that is is just as chunky as Doom 2016.
Yeah.
I mean, now I can actually play Doom Dark Ages on my computer. I mean, I had to render videos, of course it fucking has to anyway, right? So in that aspect, I mean, back then I couldn't, so now I can. So again, you could tell that when you look at I looked at the footage for the first few chapters of that you passed me for work and all that, and I can definitely tell you're playing on console. It's the same way I play too. Because you're moving left, right. You're not actually doing the up jiggle, with the mouse. Yeah. So like the next
if it's playing on mouse, it would like everywhere.
Yes. That's a pro tip for everyone watching this show. Like if you can tell whether they're playing on a console or a PC, that's how you tell. Like if you're playing FPSs and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely, it's I definitely can take your word for it, because for the past few months, I can't seem to find any first-person shooter that would be as comparable as Doom: The Dark Ages. I mean, I'm basing this off the quality from Eternal and 2016. Like, I played this shooter named Metal Eden. While it's interesting because you're a mecha lady who can fly around and grapple hook and do boost air attacks and shit, it's not as focused, as unjankified, or it's not as smooth compared to whatever id Software has done throughout the ages. Yeah, but then again, these are the guys who have actually done a lot of like so many shooters and all that, and I guess we can find out whether it's a really good single player shooter, because we've got one more coming up soon. I mean, not so soon. Borderlands, which you can play a single player. Hopefully you can play that game offline. I guess I'll find out on the presentation later tonight.
Titan advancing.